in three. All right, we're good. So yeah, what was that picture you wanted to post?
Here's the image. I made it specifically for today. I felt it kind of sums up how I feel about Final Fantasy in general. Well, Final Fantasy 13 at least. It just kind of summarizes my opinions of characterization in the game. So I think you'll take a look at it, and I think it'll be pretty enlightening.
Girl was walking to school with her BF, and they were crossing the road. Ibs, will you love me forever even if I become a C? No! The girl cried and ran across the road before the green man came on the C sign. And then boy was crying and went to pick up her body and she was dead. I meant to say I will love you if ever. That mean he loved her more than forever. Um, okay. Final Fantasy
That's
13 character study.
that's how I feel about Final Fantasy 13.
Huh. All right. Oh, cool. Getting a nice shot of that Procaster chat there.
I'm sure it's filling up quickly.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We are like we are
We've
shitting
gone
on wine
viral.
sauce right now. Don't tell Vinny I said that, despite me gonna post this recording soon.
We're gonna get
So
banned.
yeah. All right. So topic for tonight, as you all should have known by now, is story and writing.
Oh God.
So we're probably gonna be covering, some other stuff that, that subject encompasses, like, probably characters and plot. I'm not sure if that's different from story or not.
Yeah, we might
Um,
double back to gameplay since
story.
Ruisu wasn't here last time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Story is going to tie into characters and plot. If we're talking about lore, that would be completely different, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
story should, correlate to what we're discussing.
Yeah. Your mic sounds like it's acting up a little bit. I'm not sure what's that.
I probably have my fan in the background. So.
Well, no, it's like it sounds like you're coming in at a lower quality, and I don't know why really.
You sound like you're in the movie Tron right now.
Kind of. But well, we should still be able to hear you clearly. I mean, I can. What about you guys?
I just bumped my volume and I could hear him better.
All right. So
I
yeah,
can
we're
still
all,
hear him.
we're all good.
Okay.
So, where do you guys want to start?
Do you want to do a quick lightning round about how Ruisu feels about the gameplay and stuff? Because
Yeah,
I mentioned
let's
that.
go ahead with that, because you mentioned that there were quite a few points that you disagreed with us in our last video, and I'm actually kind of, anxious to hear what you have to say, because that adds a bit of legitimacy to this whole thing. So
Yeah, definitely.
get
Yeah,
on your
because
soapbox, man. Get on
We
your
all kind of
soapbox.
dumped on it.
Yeah.
Well, for the battle system, I can't really say I disagree. I mean, I felt a lot of your points are right. You mentioned how they inflated the HP and inflated MP that doesn't exist in this game, but stats felt really inflated. It felt really simplistic and restrictive. I agree with that. Compared to say 10, 12, 7, 8, which actually it felt like it was trying to emulate, but
Oh, come
it
on.
was
You don't have to stroke our egos here. Get on
no,
your
no, 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 no,
soapbox.
no, no, no. No, I don't. I'll probably be arguing with the storyline, but with the gameplay, there was nothing really that stuck out. I mean, I didn't. I enjoyed the game. I will say that. I was disappointed with it when I first played it because
Alright.
it was Final Fantasy XII. That's what That's what I'm going to start out
Well,
with. I did not enjoy Final Fantasy XIII at first because it was Final Fantasy.
I think Final Fantasy 13 is a more enjoyable experience when you don't think of it as a Final Fantasy game.
You
The
know,
You know
that
what?
kind of makes sense.
shouldn't
I-
be considered that way. I mean, you can look at Final
It-
Fantasy XII and that's a fantastic Final Fantasy game. Why can't
Yeah,
you do
it-
that with the game? I mean,
Yeah, it shouldn't be
like-
looked at it like that way, but compared
Yeah,
to the
it
other
shouldn't.
Final Fantasies, it's just subpar.
Yeah.
I think the hate for 13 is way blown out of proportion, but
Yeah,
in
I mean,
terms
I
no,
want to make this clear, okay? It's like, I don't think 13 is, a bad game. It's just not a great Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, it's technically good and all, but it's, not really
Yeah,
buzzword to
that's
play.
pretty much where I stand in some aspects.
Oh god, I kind of hate myself for saying buzzword now.
Buzzword is a buzzword.
But in terms of gameplay, I enjoyed it for like the first hour and a half, I guess.
Yeah.
I never did use auto battle. I knew that option was there, and I knew that it gave you that option, or it gave you the option to not use it, and it was pretty much you have to use this.
Oh yeah, I
Right?
want. Who was it that mentioned that you could
I,
change it to
I did.
abilities? Yeah, apparently 13 had that option as well.
Really?
Yeah, it's in the settings menu,
Oh,
Both
which
did.
just proves that nobody went into the settings menu.
I didn't go into the settings menu.
I
Like-
actually went in there to look up a few
I
things.
believe the difference is 13.2 actually forced the settings menu at the beginning.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it
in
forced it.
Yeah, in
I kind of
13,
like
it
it
was
when
just
games
at the
do that
start
because then I
screen.
miss stuff.
Yeah,
I kind of just go into the settings menu before the game menu. And
well, I kind of
mark up the game as
revisited the settings.
menu. So-
I've learned to go into the settings menu now after replaying Pokemon games as an adult and realizing that the text speed is insanely slow unless you switch it to fast.
Yeah.
That's
And that's
every-
just got me in the habit.
I feel stupid now because I didn't know you could do that in Pokemon. Suddenly, my Heart Gold playthrough is going to be a lot faster.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
But
Your
yeah,
time
I
will drop
actually
by a couple hours.
Actually, I'll confess, I went into the settings menu partially to put subtitles on for when the characters were, talking while I was moving about in the field, and also to see if I could set the battle speed faster. There was no such option, sadly.
Can you
Yeah.
not? Can you make it go slower but not faster?
Yes, you can.
That's weird.
I don't even know why you would do that.
I didn't have a problem with the speed at all. I mean, I didn't slow it down, but I thought it was fine.
Well, like we
I
were
should probably
talking about,
minimize this
one of the
window.
things is like the paradigm switching animation, stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
It added length
I
to the
have
matches.
no clue why they decided to have those animations in the first place. They should.
The animations that kill you.
to counter that, what I did was I would just switch paradigms right at the start of battle, and just switch back immediately because it made no difference afterwards.
Wait, what do you mean exactly?
Like, when you initiate a battle, you just switch a paradigm right off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
so
Uh-huh.
you got the animation out of the way. And
Oh
you can-
yeah,
Oh, it
I've
only
actually
did it
figured out
once.
that there are certain points where you can switch paradigms, and it'll like do it or do it right then and there without going through the animation.
as soon as the initial cutscene or whatever you want to call it goes on, you won't get the animation anymore. It'll just immediately switch. So
So I know they removed the animations
Oh.
in 13 too.
that's completely gone in 13 too. So you don't see that cutscene.
Yeah.
13
Well, I
too
mean,
was
it
great
wasn't
about
so
the
bad.
gameplay.
It wasn't so bad if it weren't for the fact that there's two types of animations. One where everyone switches paradigms at once, and one where they switch individually and you have to watch each of them change in turn.
The individual one is the one I was referring to. They got rid of that completely. The other animation where you see everyone switch at once, that still exists, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were actually certain points in 13 where if you timed it right during certain, points in battle, you could actually just have it while they're still, moving about and stuff. And
Oh yeah. Like if you do it mid combo or whatever you want to call it,
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's
it will
one
just
way I got
completely skip
around
the
it.
animation.
Yeah.
It was a huge exploit too with the game, which I didn't like. It was an exploit, but in the wrong ways, I guess. Final
Yeah.
Fantasy has always been known for having broken equipment or broken spells.
Gotta have that
mechanics.
emergent gameplay.
It felt really. I don't know. It had problems. I will agree that the gameplay had a lot of problems.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Anything else we want to say about the battles?
Eidolons were completely useless. This has been a
Thank
problem
you.
since 10.
I
been a
got them
problem
to be
since 10.
useful.
I
don't
got them to be
used
useful in certain situations. Well,
It's all
one I
about
think the
timing on
one
them.
situation everyone found them useful for is for adamantoises.
Oh, I never even did that. I just
Yeah, well,
Or-
apparently using a summon at the start of a battle with an or any time during the battle with an Adamantoise, is just it automatically makes it go down and opens it up.
The trick with the Eidolons is one, like, let's take the first fight with Bartandalus for an example. When you take
Fuck
off his
Bartandalus.
armor, shoulders, and arms, you summon it then, and then you have to constantly just hit off moves to get his stagger meter, stagger him, and then switch into the our
Gestalt,
base,
Gestalt,
yeah,
whatever it
Gestalt
was.
mode. You have to do that, switch into Gestalt, and then start wailing on him with damage.
Well, I think that's kind of how all the summons really work.
Yeah, that's
Um,
pretty much common knowledge in most Final Fantasies. Get them down to a certain point of percentage or whatever you want to call it, and just wail down on them. Like you did that in 10 with Seymour Flux.
Yeah, and you could skip
Well, you
one of
stack
his
your
his
overdrive
final
and stuff,
form.
Yeah.
Oh,
final,
God,
final, final
Seymour.
form.
Seymour, that battle made me angry with Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I went into the whole it's a broken concept because you could cast bio on him and just like defend the rest of the fight and win easily.
Yeah, I kind of like 10's boss fights because they were almost kind of gimmicky, where you could cheese them, but you had to know what to do, like Bio worked. And then in the Unalesca fight, if you used your summon and she would steal all their mana, you could overdrive again, even if your overdrive bar was empty. So you could overdrive twice in a row with Bahamut and basically kill her in
God.
2 hits.
Nice.
Yeah, and the whole zombie thing. You needed to have one person zombified so you can
Yeah.
survive Mega Death.
I remember at Final Fantasy X, I got stuck at one boss. It was like at this ice lake, and I ran around, leveled up for about 10 hours straight, and I cheesed the rest of the game.
Nice.
I felt so bad for it because the game just felt
Stop
ruined
breaking
for
the
me.
game, asshole.
I don't know.
Alright.
I like breaking games.
Except for the
alright,
Seymour
hate
fight. That was trouble.
Yeah. Oh, hate to interrupt, but we do have actual topic for tonight.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
let's
do.
Any final remarks on the battle system before we move on?
No, not really.
No, yeah.
There wasn't much to talk about at all.
All right. So, story and writing. Oh boy, let's go. Where should we start?
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of partial to start at the beginning because that was where I
Well,
had most of my
Which
moments.
beginning?
So what?
Which beginning do you want to start at? The 13
Odom.
days
Oh.
or the where the game starts?
Fuck you. That's where.
Oh God.
But seriously,
I was
fuck that.
I
Fuck
was
that.
thinking
I mean,
about it today, and I'm just distraught at how confusing it was.
Yeah,
like
it is.
retrospect.
It's like, oh, okay, it's like you get to certain points in like the first, 3 or 4 chapters, maybe even the 5th chapter, and it just like shows you all the days out of order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Now, when you're able to place it together, stuff starts making sense. The only thing I could not make sense of was why they never really told you who was the bad guy. I mean, Bartandus
Yeah,
is
that's
painted
another
as the bad
thing
guy,
I don't
but
get about this game. Who is the bad guy? We don't know who the bad guy is. And
like they
I
scream
actually-
about, oh, you have to kill Cocoon. Oh no, you have to protect her. You have to kill Orphan. No, you have to protect Orphan.
well, too bad. Orphan's trying to
Orphan's gonna
kill you,
attack
and you have to
us.
kill Orphan
Okay.
regardless. But yeah, that's another thing. I actually thought about this before I even played Final Fantasy XIII. I thought about this when I got Dissidia Duodecim. It's like they put lightning in that game, and you know, in Dissidia they usually put the hero, or the main hero and the main villain from the game or each game in the series in that game.
Yeah.
Lightning did not have an antagonist to go with her.
To be fair for Dissidia, Final Fantasy XI nor 12 had their antagonists either, or protagonists for 12, but Final Fantasy
12
XI
had
didn't have an
Gabrath.
antagonist. Well, it didn't have Vaughn in the first one, which is
Well, that's because most people who
Oh, wait,
like
if I
Final
remember
Fantasy
correctly,
weren't demanding Vaughn.
Well, if I remember correctly, Gabranth was more of a secret character than anything else, and
that's true. Yeah, they were both secret characters, so that
as well as
that-
Shantoto.
Yeah, they were both.
Or
So
how
yeah,
is it?
I guess that makes sense at that point.
Oh, and before you ask, yes, they included the paradigm system in Duodecim for her.
Oh, I know, I saw that.
It makes
What?
no sense whatsoever to include it. The medic paradigm is absolutely useless in that game unless you
I
like
keep trying.
staying still healing for 1 HP for every other second. It's as bad as it sounds.
I keep trying to think of a character in Final Fantasy XIII that would be the antithesis to Lightning, and the only one I can come up with is that army general.
Sid?
Sid?
That's all I could think of as well.
Oh wait, no.
Either that or
Who was
Jill.
that other guy who's like piloted the Proud class?
Oh, that was
He has some
Snow's
weird-ass name.
antithesis.
He was what?
That was the guy. That was the guy that Snow kept bucking heads with most of the time.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
Rock.
to be honest, I did
Yeah.
not remember Snow going up against that guy within the game.
It's all during the city when they're running around in the city trying to get the Hope's father. Snow keeps
Oh
running
yeah.
into him.
All right. Now I remember. Jesus Christ. See, if this were any other Final Fantasy game, I probably would have remembered something
You know
like
what?
that.
I was talking to Tense Condom today on the forum,
Yeah.
and I cannot for the life of me remember most of the places in that game, or how I got there, or what I was doing there.
Yeah,
like-
everyone, I think last call, everyone was saying Bodum. Bodum is like, crap. where is-
Bodum was the bubble shell place that you start out at the beginning. Has the ocean, fireworks,
Well,
and the big
yeah,
tower in the middle.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
didn't even
Where
remember
the
that
whole story
until...
began. Yeah, but
okay,
Palom
Bodum is,
Polum, that's the name
Bodum's
of the
the
city I was
resort.
trying to think of.
No, the resort is Nautilus.
No, the Nautilus is the theme park.
Yeah. All right.
I'm talking about the ocean resort.
Yeah, where like all of the Snow and Sarah scenes took place.
No, that was
Yeah.
actually, believe it or not, that was Bodum.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so why are you guys talking about Palom Polum?
No,
I
I
know.
said Palom Polum because I was referencing the city I was talking about when they're
God.
trying to get a host father.
See-
I'm sorry.
See, this is my point exactly. Isn't this kind of confusing? Just talking about these locations, because there's nothing really memorable.
Not
Oh.
only that, but there's another planet.
Well,
Oh, God.
I've actually, believe it or not, despite the fact that I can't remember some of these places, I have actually read a good chunk of the data log.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Cocoon was, excuse me, was actually taken from Grand Pulse.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
they
The
referenced
Falcon
that
did it.
in 13 too, kind of.
Now,
It's in the data book for 13.
yeah, that's another thing. Okay, why do we have to?
I remember
like,
them
keep-
mentioning it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they
I
never
have
really
catalog-
mentioned it.
No,
in the
I
game.
remember them mentioning it at least once during when they were talking about the Fal'Cie.
Yeah.
there was
That
something
like,
about it.
1,000 years before they lifted Cocoon to after the Fal'Cies had their Great War.
I don't
Well,
remember it.
So I think someone mentioned not getting too deep into the lore, and you know what? That's probably for the best because some of the lore just doesn't really make much sense.
You
I
know,
thought
there's
the
it's
lore was
not there's not a lot of lore.
Well,
Like, there's
if
the
there's not a
Faust
lot of
stuff.
lore, then it's especially a bad problem because okay, when that small amount of lore doesn't make any sense, then why did you put it in?
What I mean, the lore is probably the part of the game that I actually really enjoyed. It's just they did not emphasize it at all, and that is
Yeah, I mean, if they
like,
hinted at it a bit more, or like talked about it a bit more, then
like
yeah, it
do
would've
they
made more
even
sense.
mention the gods or the goddess or any of that shit in
No, they
in
only
13?
mentioned the
I don't
maker.
remember any of that.
They only
Yeah.
mentioned the
Mentioned
maker.
the goddess one time. I remember Link saying.
No,
Yeah.
they never mentioned the goddess Etro in Final Fantasy 13, only 13-2.
Oh really?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, and believe it or
this whole
not,
game was built around this lore and you didn't use it, really? What?
and believe it or not, okay, the maker is just one god or whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to the dialogue, there was like a nice chunk of them.
Yeah,
All
they're
right,
like
this
3 or 4.
this makes a little bit more sense. Etro is a Fal'Cie.
What?
That makes a little bit more sense.
Okay.
Wait, where'd you read that up? Was
Final
that,
Fantasy Wiki.
What?
that
Where
makes
all
no
of our
freaking sense
information about the
whatsoever.
game comes from instead of the actual game.
Seriously, that makes no freaking sense whatsoever.
No, it really doesn't, because the goddess, or the gods rather, created the fallacy and the humans. So
Yeah, and then the goddess,
that's
and the
kind of
goddess was
contradictory.
hinted to have made the Eidolons, which, by the way, I still think the pronunciation of it is fucking stupid.
I don't.
Seriously, just it sounds like someone made a terrible Apple meme.
Etro is mentioned in the data logs in Final Fantasy 13.
But only the data logs.
Only the data
Yeah.
logs.
Only the data logs, but not with her name, just as the goddess.
She was the one who stopped Ragnarok from destroying Cocoon during the War of Transgression.
Oh.
That reminds me.
Well,
Okay.
that kind of just
They
retcons
actu-
13 too.
They actually they repaired Cocoon after that, and guess how they repaired Cocoon?
Duct tape.
They used stuff left over from War
War.
of Transgression.
Yeah, that's just the whole Vile Peaks.
And you know what makes the least amount of sense? Is that they left, I don't know, what are they called? Vestiges? Whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, they left those intact while they were repairing. And guess what? One of those vestiges had a Fel C in it. Guess what? That very Fel C branded Sarah and the main party in the game. Guess what? Who didn't who forgot to mention that there was a Fel C in this vestige when they were repairing Cocoon?
Yeah,
Oops.
it had a lot of potholes.
Actually,
Inconsistencies.
I believe Bartandalus made it that way because he was trying to find out a way
Bullshit.
he could kill
Bullshit. Bullshit.
No,
I am
he's
calling
right, he's
bullshit
right.
on that.
Yeah, because
I
Bartandalus
don't
was trying
know-
to
I don't
destroy
know why.
Orphan, but Foul C can't kill a Foul C. That's why they have Lassie do it.
That's bullshit. That is a bullshit reason.
Apparently, all of the fallacy on Cocoon were trying to get rid of Cocoon.
Now, here's the main reason why I find that bullshit. Because it's because it's like, what was it?
The reason
like
they
in
were
the
trying to
Dead-
destroy Orphan was so that they could crash Cocoon in the Grand Pulse, kill a bunch of Foul C, and bring the Maker back.
It was pretty much just mass sacrifice for.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the whole War of Transgression was started so that they could bring down Cocoon, which the Pulse
Yeah.
Falsi didn't even want up in the first place because they felt betrayed. So I'm calling bullshit on the whole. We don't want to kill other Falsi because, according to like the deadlock and all that, they really wanted that thing dead and everything in it.
It was basically Doomsday. They wanted the Doomsday scenario to bring an end to all the sin and stuff. I believe that's what Bartandalus was calling it. So he wanted to bring back the Maker and wipe everyone.
Which another thing, okay, the only way he could make sure of that would be to make sure there was nobody left on, Pulse or whatever.
Which is what Cocoon hitting the ground would have done.
I don't know. Because, see, that kind of leads it back into the whole Pulse fallacy, because they wanted that thing destroyed, and Ragnarok was supposed to bring it down to the ground again, and according to the deadlog, that's exactly what the Pulse fallacy wanted, and I don't fucking get it now.
He believes that killing countless Cocoon citizens as sacrifice would call back the Maker, the god who created the world and long since departed, and then the world would be born new.
But here's another thing. The Maker is only one god. There was multiple gods that made the Earth.
The Maker was the one god that
Created all the
felt relevant.
demigods.
No,
Yeah.
No, not even that. According to the deadlog, the Maker made Felsi and Lassie, and that was it, pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the lore is just a whole mess. Anyway, so I got another thing.
Well,
go ahead.
let's not pretend that Final Fantasy hasn't been kind of establishing lore and ruining it for a long time. And I'm specifically talking about Ultimania, where they have lore and they I don't want to say retcon it, but they put in a whole lot of extra information about the world to try to flesh it out. But in the end, it ends up causing a lot of problems, and they've been causing a lot of problems in their lore since Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. 7, they try to correlate, or they try to relate Dissidia to Final Fantasy 1 for whatever reason. Yeah, they've been known for butchering their own lore numerous times.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, I'm not sure if you skimmed through it or not, but I think I mentioned the fact that the Final Fantasy IV, the After Years, it just shits on all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
To the
it tried
point
to
where
say
it's-
that all the Final Fantasy worlds took place in the same world.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
Oh, you mean that whole thing about 10-2 and or Final Sphere and Gaia being linked together or some shit? That was just one of the 10-2 developers saying it and had nothing to
No,
do
I
with
mean,
the,
like, in
7.
the After Years for Final Fantasy IV, they, like, in one poorly written sentence, they said that all the Final Fantasies take place all in the same universe.
Oh God, what?
Yes.
That kind of conflicts with the Final Fantasy V then, which says they're all in different dimensions.
Well, no, not really.
Well, it
Gilgamesh,
doesn't outright
Gilgamesh
say it, but
himself
it's-
has actually proven that to, or actually gives an
Multiverse theory.
String theory,
Science
Final
saves the
Fantasy.
day.
Now, see, apparently the void is like the part that connects all the dimensions together,
Yeah,
which makes sense if they're different dimensions. But no, the After Years says, oh, hey, everything's all on different planets, just same universe, which makes no fucking sense.
it
Anyway.
really does.
And
Considering
before
the races are all the same.
Oh,
and
I got a legitimate question for you guys.
Yeah.
Why did Saz get on the train?
He was going on a party train.
I don't know. He was bored or some shit. I don't know.
hold on.
I'm glad he did, but
I
have no
I
Because
idea.
not
think it was
even the
just because
game's
he just
own-
wanted adventure, but he got more than his fill.
No, not even that. It's like the data log doesn't even answer it. Like there is no answer. He had no.
Wasn't it because he was trying to help Dodge?
If he
might
was
have had
helping
some
Dodge,
relation-
why did he even
yeah,
get on in the
something-
first
yeah.
place?
He probably wanted to see if
Because I
vaguely
actually remember this cutscene, believe it or not, from
yeah, I remember it as well.
because I remember it was like, okay, he was just looking over, he saw Lightning like giving up her weapon and whatnot, and wanting to and requesting to be a part of the purge, and he decides, oh hey, something's up, maybe I should join this chick, join her in being, fucking killed.
Yeah, I
So-
thought he just volunteered to join the Purge because, like, didn't he know his son was dead at that point?
No,
No,
his
Dodge
son
was still
the-
alive
His son-
and well.
Yeah, he
No,
was still
no.
alive.
But he was
Okay.
still see, and he wanted to see if he could get rid of that somehow, because they were pulling the pulse out. I don't know.
No, it
Oh,
was
Might
like,
because
have
I
had
was gonna
something to
say,
do
I
with
thought
that.
maybe he was like killing himself or something, like he tried to do later. But
No,
okay, yeah, then I have no idea.
yeah, he had no reason whatsoever to get on the train.
But again, this is Saz we're talking about, and the game really doesn't care about Saz that much.
the thing is, they've always kind of done this with their comedy relief characters. I mean,
Well, I
Like-
mean, yeah, Saz is kind of comedic relief, but I've always felt that Saz is like the human character. Like, he
Yeah.
is us. We are Saz. This is how we would react if we were put in this situation. We wouldn't be saying, oh, I'm going to take it on. Oh, I've got my trusty gunblade. Let me shoot him up and slice him at the same time. We'd be going, what
All
the
right.
hell are you people doing? Let's get the fuck out of here.
yeah, here's the most realistic character of them all.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess they're just trying to appeal to the Western audience or something, because that's pretty much what 13 was in a nutshell.
I think, yeah.
I understand why he got onto the train now. It doesn't explicitly explain it, but I understand it a bit more.
Oh, please do tell, because I'm still trying to figure out a reason.
All right. You remember how he took Dodge to the fireworks festival at Bodum?
yeah.
All right. SciComm had Dodge under supervision because he was a lessee at that point, and
Right.
they believed his focus was to find Pulse lessee.
Oh,
so
that's right. That's
SciComm
right.
was watching Saz and Dodge the entire time. After Dodge reacts to the foul sea that's there, and the possibility of there being Pulse l'Cie, they take him back into custody and leave Saz there under supervision of Psycom. He sees Lightning and sees that she could possibly shake things up and get Psycom off of his back. So he gets onto the train with her.
But that still doesn't make sense considering Dodge is still in custody.
Well,
I think
he also wanted to complete Dodge's focus for him. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was trying to do the focus.
Yeah, he didn't know what his focus was, so he was trying to complete his focus, and he needed Psycom off of him.
It works, but I still think that's kind of a stretch, and I'm not really happy with that. I mean, yeah, I can see it working, but I'm just not happy with it.
He just really liked adventure.
He likes adventure, but he doesn't like adventure that's going to kill him.
All right, so let's see. What other story points that didn't make any freaking sense?
Well, I guess I have something to talk about, which I think this is kind of my feel of Final Fantasy XIII in general, like just everything about it. Ruisu said it at the beginning of the video. You might not remember it, but I absolutely agree with what you said. Final Fantasy XIII is trying to be Final Fantasy VII and VIII, but you'll notice that Final Fantasy like 9 and 12, I didn't feel like they were trying to be Final Fantasy 8 and 9, even though 9 was really similar in terms of gameplay style to the other two. But here's what I think the difference is. I think the serious difference is the amount of melodrama in these games, because Final Fantasy 13 is one of the most melodramatic things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I don't think there was one bit of happiness for any of the characters except for when all 6 are reunited. That's it.
Yeah.
And even then, that wasn't even that happy.
Yeah, they didn't even care because they didn't even really like each other at that point.
Yeah, let's see. Lightning pretty much wanted Snow to go fuck himself and die.
Why did she hate Snow other than the fact that he was going to marry Sarah?
Because she just didn't like his personality.
Because Lightning is order, demands, and restraint. Snow is not restraint and do whatever the hell it takes.
Well, I think
Lightning is
actually remember
law
the
neutral.
Oh, sorry for talking over you there, but
oh no, it's fine. You go ahead.
But I actually remember from the deadlog that she didn't like Snow's group Nora. What else?
Well, they were an anti-government group.
I think part of it had something to do with Sarah being. Let's see. I think another part of it was
she was blaming Snow for that or something. I don't.
Yeah, she blamed Snow.
It.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. The fact that her commanding officer actually, fuck, I can't. All right. Overlooked, all the activities that Nora did. And I think that's pretty much about it. Let's see, who else wanted who dead? Hope wanted Snow dead.
Hope wanted Snow dead.
Hope wanted Snow dead because his mom died.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was the worst thing ever. It's like, oh my god. I mean, seriously, those following scenes just, oh my god, I can't even begin to describe them. It's like, oh my god, he was with my mom when she died. It's all his fault. He must die. Let me stab him with a knife. And
the problem with that one is before Chapter 7, which is where he attempts to kill Snow. In Chapter 6, it seems as though he got over it, or he understands what happened.
Yeah.
But in Chapter 7, he reverts to wanting to kill him. That was probably my biggest complaint with that story arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like...
Well, again, I'm going to go ahead and say this, but I think a lot of the characters in Final Fantasy XIII were written just to add drama to the game. Like, we could have easily gone without having conflict between Snow and Hope. It would have detracted nothing. It wouldn't have affected the story at all. I felt that the conflict between Snow and Hope was really kind of stupid. But I feel like Hope's mom was written into the game just to give reason or
For
just
him
to
to
give
hate,
Hope
yeah.
a reason to be sad and to give him a reason to not like Snow. Similarly, I feel like Sarah was written into the game for the sole purpose of giving Snow a reason to be sad and giving Lightning a reason to be sad.
Well, the thing about
Well,
Snow is I never
I think
felt the
it's more
character
of
actually
Lightning being angsty than sad, but yeah.
I never felt that Snow was ever really sad. Like there, I mean, everyone else I could
Well, okay,
understand,
Basically,
but Snow
okay,
just never
was
really came off.
here's what Snow is. Snow is the Final Fantasy equivalent to Shadow the Hedgehog.
kind
I
of.
was actually
Sarah!
just thinking that.
Sarah! Sarah!
Oh,
No! Sarah!
Here's the thing, though, is that Snow isn't sad, but we're supposed to be sad for Snow because
yeah.
his girlfriend is dead.
Well, not dead, a crystal.
Well, okay, a
But
crystal, but
man,
Sarah
it's
was
gotta
like,
be symbolic. It might still be death, just different
My
flavor.
girlfriend is a statue.
Saz's son and wife, written into the game. His wife is never mentioned except for this explicit fact that she is not there, and we're supposed to feel bad for Saz about it. His son
Actually,
is
believe it or
introduced
not-
into
Actually, I
Believe
think
it or not, I was
Dodge-
genuinely interested in Saz's wife. Like, they mentioned that she died from a sickness, and I legitimately wanted to know how
Genophage.
how
Sephiroth's back.
goddamn.
Okay,
I-
you know what? I was gonna bring that up, but I think now is a good time to think about how much you wouldn't have cared when Eris died if Eris wasn't a playable party or playable character in your party for like 10 hours of the game. That's why I feel like I didn't care about any of the other characters that were just drama fodder to be killed off. Like Saz's son and Hope and Sarah, like we weren't introduced to them. Their sole defining feature, like the centricity of their character, is the fact that they are going to die.
I think they were more Sarah and Dodge particularly were more built in as a driving force to make the characters
make
do
them
the
sad.
job. Well, no, to actually go through with it, because I don't think if they were just turned into a Lassie and Sarah didn't ask them to for help, or if Dodge wasn't turned into a Lassie, those characters wouldn't have done nothing. Even if Saz was turned into a Lassie, I bet they would have been turned into Seath.
Well,
They
here's
needed a driving force.
is that after his son died, Saz still decided to not kill himself and help his bros out.
Wasn't part of that because his Eidolon came out and said, "Yo, bro, you can't do this shit."
Yeah, once the Eidolons only come when they
When they
someone
lose all
reaches their yeah.
All of them did.
But once they have, once the Eidolon comes to or sides with them, they realize their purposes and what they have to do.
And none of those purposes were really aligned with the characters that were supposed to originally motivate them. The reason all of them entered despair and the Eidolons appeared was because they had lost all hope and were like, man, this isn't worth it. And then the Eidolon came and they're like, I need to live for myself. And they continued.
Actually, I got a question.
progress of the
Why the
game.
hell did Lightning's Eidolon appear? I can't even remember that.
PMS scene, I guess. I don't know. There wasn't really any other reason. She just
I mean, now that I think about it, it's like, actually, why did Snow's Eidolon appear?
Snow's Eidolon appeared because everyone like left him behind with Sarah the Crystal, and people were coming to attack him, and he was like, "No,
Yeah.
I can't leave behind my dead girlfriend."
All right, yeah, okay, now I remember. I mean, that one makes a little bit of sense. Sarah, or not Sarah, Lightning, I can't remember for the life of me, and even if I did, probably wouldn't make any sense.
Lightning stopped.
no.
kicking.
Lightning's she was annoyed that she had to watch over Hope or whatever. That's
Oh,
really
well
all
then
it was.
I understand completely. Fuck Hope.
She's like, I
But-
gave the kid a knife. What more do you want from me?
The problem that you mentioned with having so many disposable characters that just they kill off with no problem. Eris was kind of out of nowhere. It was really out of left field. You had no idea she was going to die, and they just kind of made it. Oh, she just got stabbed. That's part of why it was such a big impact, because it was just such a meaningless death in a way. If
Well, I
that
mean,
makes
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, part of it was like, okay, you invested all this time. I'm in such into her thinking that she would be with you for the entire game, and then, oh, fuck
Yeah, they
me, she got a
centralized her as
5 foot metal shaft in her.
yeah, they were centralizing her as a possible love interest in a
Yeah.
way, and then they just kind of kill her off. Like there was really no foreshadowing of it.
It's
It
a
was just they were
possible
gonna
love
kill her.
interest. Bro, if you didn't get Barrett as a date to the Golden Saucer, then, man, you are some beta ass fuck.
I couldn't get there. I tried and I failed.
He didn't think you were worthy enough. Anyway, let's see, who else?
But like I was thinking about other things, but I think the reason that I ended up not caring about all the disposable characters is because we don't get an intro to all of the characters before they're killed off. Like we don't know.
Yeah,
We don't know
Yeah,
anything
most
about
most
Hope
of the
until Sarah's
intro for
already
the
dead.
characters, most of the intro
We
for the
don't-
characters was a flashback.
Yeah, it was
we don't
like during
know
the
Hope's
13
mom
days.
until after she dies. We know who she is after she's dead, but
Yeah, like we're
When
only
she dies,
caring
we
about these
don't,
characters
like,
in
oh.
retrospect. Like I remember, you're still seeing flashbacks about Snow and Sarah when you're on Grand Pulse. Like almost to the end of the game, you're still getting backstory about Snow and Sarah.
yeah, that was probably my biggest concern with the storyline. It felt like the pacing was awful. I can say that outright. The pacing is really bad.
Yeah,
It was much
And
too
that's
long for me
probably
to
what-
remember anything significant.
And that alone is probably what made it not as interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
I would have been much more involved if they did it sequentially. chronologically.
I mean, let's think about this a little bit. Okay, how long? Okay, this is gonna sound a little weird. I'm just gonna go ahead and say a few of my Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy V. I think I can finish that game around 35 hours, and I still remember most of the events that occurred in that game. 4, probably around 30, 35. How about you guys? Like, let's take a little bit of a poll here. What's your favorite Final Fantasy? How long did it usually take you on a, straight playthrough?
Well, I'm gonna say my favorite's 11, so it's kind of hard to say. I had a straight playthrough of that.
Well, if you didn't get banned for beating one of their bosses.
I didn't
Mine,
get that far into it. No. I guess my favorite single player game would probably be either 7 or 12. 7 taking me a good 40 hours. 12 taking me a good
Well,
Under
12's kind of
20?
a different beast, but
12. The problem is I kind of have a completionist problem. I will do all of the side content. before
oh, so
finishing
you beat
the
that
game.
in 12
Yeah.
hours.
Oh, 120. So
Well, yeah, but I'm kind of referring
yeah.
to that.
12 is a long game, man.
Yeah.
12 is really long. Even if you
All
don't
right,
do
so
all of the
12 I
content, it's
kind
like
of give a pass, but
50, 60 hours.
Yeah,
mine would have to be Final Fantasy X, which took me about 70 hours.
10 took me like 12 hours. It was really short. I mean, that was
Yeah.
with all the cutscenes and everything not being skippable. It
Well-
was really short compared to other games.
Completionist aspect for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you did like all the sphere grids for all the characters, that could take you
Yeah.
a while. I beat that game in
Oh,
about
God.
30
well, yeah,
hours,
but
I didn't
I'm
do any
talking
extra
more
stuff.
of like, okay, doing, a decent amount of side quests and everything, but mostly progressing with the main story.
Yeah,
mean, when you do that, it wouldn't take too amazingly long.
No.
My favorite is 9. Well, I guess my favorite is really 12, but my view of 12 is so skewed because I did a lot of sequence breaking in that game.
Mhm.
So I honestly don't remember in what order a lot of things occurred, but I've got a pretty good idea. But Final Fantasy IX is my second favorite, and I've beaten that game like 3 times. I have a pretty good idea of what's happened in that game. Even
Right.
Final Fantasy VII, I've only beat once. And I use that as my example in the forum when I was talking about how I can't remember in 13 what happened when. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
I had
Like,
that
I-
same
Yeah,
problem.
but here's the thing, okay? In, like, what was that? You said, some of you, like, how long did you say that your first playthrough of 12 took? What was it, Luce?
About
Yeah.
120 hours.
Yeah, but you still, like, the pacing was just right.
Yeah, I had no problem with pacing at all. I know what
Yeah.
happened when.
Like, you
Yeah,
could,
Final Fantasy
like, you could actually
12 's
remember
good.
events in that game, right?
Mhm. The problem,
Okay,
or the thing was, is I had the whole world, like I controlled where I went when I went, so that
right.
had a lot to do with it.
Well, here's the
Which
thing. Okay, I beat Final Fantasy XIII just focusing. Like, I did a small amount of quests, but I mostly focused on driving through the main story. Even so, I finished it at 50 hours. I don't remember a decent chunk of the game.
I actually remember almost the entire game. It's just the dialogue that I have trouble remembering a lot.
I
Yeah, like, I
I'm
don't
the person
remember
I
some of the significant story events and stuff. And
I
the
I went
dialogue.
through
remember
my
all
game
those
in
like
about
I
44
remember.
hours, and I remember what happened. I just don't remember when it happened because there was all in flashbacks and random intervals.
Yeah, I remember most of the plot line stuff. Once I get towards end game, I'm a little hazy on the like the big or not the big plot stuff, but some of the plot stuff because honestly at that point I was just trying to finish the game so I could say that I did it. But like early in the
Same
game,
here.
I remember things that happened and I remember most of the story pretty well, but I can't remember and normally I'm good about these things. Like I'm not retarded. I know how video games work, but I can't remember in what order any of the characters went anywhere. Like I remember this giant sewer level type thing with a giant fal'Cie or something in the middle. Can't
That
remember for the
was
Believe
life
it or
of me.
not, I actually
that
remember
was
exact.
Lightning and Hope at Pelham Polum.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
it was
actually
Lightning and
chapter
Hope.
5, and fuck me, how do I remember that?
I
In
remember
this
being
entire
like,
game, there
Chapter
are
7.
chapter 7?
Yeah,
I
Oh, well,
that's where
then
remember
I
Mary's
being
guess I
on
don't
talking.
like
remember
I
it
can't
as clear.
remember. I can't remember why they were going to Pelham Polum. I know
I
Hope's
Pelham,
reasoning, but
Pelham was where Hope's dad was.
I think the
And,
reason why I'm so familiar with 13 is because I had to restart my save 3 times.
oh, that might be why.
oh, you
Yep.
poor bastard.
Like, okay, does anyone
Yeah.
remember why you were on like the moon crater thing? Like
Wait,
the mining colony on the moon with all the robots?
Wait, what? Wait, no, that
Oh,
was
you
still
mean
part of
Vile
Cocoon.
Yeah, I know.
That was
It
just
was still pretty early on. You
oh
had
yeah,
Sound Lightning.
The reason why you were there is because you crash landed.
from what? Fuck me.
From
remember Cocoon.
like
The
attacking.
sky, or basically think of Cocoon as like a halo that's a sphere from the Halo series.
Yeah,
All
it's
the land
all
is on the inside. Like if you look up, you can see the land on the top.
Yeah.
So they got
I thought that
blasted
was
off
really
that one
cool.
section, and then they fell to another section of Cocoon.
Yeah. I just don't
Well,
remember when it was. I think
That was
I
chapter-
think it would probably be a little bit better if this is something we didn't talk about, but kind of the fact that the game was a series of hallways. I don't really mind linearity, but my problem with the transitions in this game is almost all the transitions from area to area in Final Fantasy XIII happened on like during a cutscene, and you weren't actually doing it. Whereas in like Final Fantasy X, which was similarly linear, but no one really seemed to have a problem with that linearity. Most of the transitions from area to area were you actually walking through them. Like you would
Yeah.
walk from the like from the moon flow and you would slowly emerge from this forest into like an icy landscape, whereas if the transition had occurred in a cutscene you'd be like, wait, I was just in a forest, why am I in the tundra now?
Well, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go ahead and say it. I mean, really, when you think about it, and all Final Fantasies are linear. It's just how they handle it. I mean,
yeah,
it's
that's true. But
I mean,
it's
let,
kind of
let me
different
use
when
5
it's
as
a
an
world
example.
map and
Let me use 5 as an example. I don't know why I have such a hard on for 5 recently, but seriously, it's making me choose between 4 and 5 now because okay, 4 was like the first one I really got into. But anyway, let's take a look at 5, okay? Or pretty much any classic. Anyway, basically, you had a very limited choice of where to go at the very start. It's like, oh, you could go over here, investigate the cave, or over to this meteor that just landed. Well, where are you going to go? Well, obviously the meteor, and then events happen there. Long story short, you're finished there, you go over to the cave. You go into the cave, you find a ship, or something like
the
that.
world opens up more. Yeah,
You find
Yeah.
a
it was
ship,
never
you jack
really
it from some
linear.
pirates. It's like you jack it from some pirates, then you go to a town. And then they're like, oh, hey, guess what? There's something happening over at this place. Why don't you go over there? And it's like, all right, cool. And then we go over there, and fast forward a bit, you get a wyvern, and you get to fly to more places that were previously closed off. And there you go. But along the way, you had all these, little cities and towns you could get to. And it didn't say, oh, no, you can't go here yet. That's not part of the story. It's like, yeah, you can get there, but
you can't do anything there.
until you
Yeah.
get to the place that you couldn't get to before with your newfound toys or tools or whatever, you're not actually going to, progress with a story.
The thing with those older games and with the world map in general is that, well, in 12 and 11 had that too. They were never really restricted. They just
Exactly.
limited your transportation
Exactly.
and your means of transporting.
In your
And
progress
13 and
throughout
10
the
did
world
not have
map.
that.
Yeah, I mean,
There
without
wasn't even
those
a world map.
Yeah, without those means of transportation, where you could go to was very limited, and basically by limiting your transportation, they could still put in a story without, being too restricting.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
other
every
thing
other Final Fantasy's done it. Why
Yeah.
couldn't this one do it? So
I think the
That's
other
kind-
thing about this game that was kind of weird was the other games have always kind of had an element to the characters' backstories that were almost optional to learn about. Like, heck, Final Fantasy VII had optional characters. Like, I can't imagine this game, like, having characters like the main characters knew hidden off in like some town that you don't have to visit but you can, but every single thing the game has to share with you is forced onto you. There's no sense of exploration and there's no sense of discovery. It's a much more cinematic experience, but it's definitely not a good thing. There are some games that can pull off a very linear cinematic experience, but I don't think this game does it.
It's
No,
emergent gameplay.
it didn't really. That's why I don't look at it as high as.
I
other
think that's one of the major problems with the Final Fantasy 13 in general is it's lacking emergent gameplay, which
it took itself too
is
seriously as well.
yeah.
You see other Final Fantasies, they poke fun at themselves. You see, in 7, you cross dress and you date a black guy.
Yeah.
Can you really imagine anyone in 13 doing that?
No, Final Fantasy 13 takes
Be right
itself
back
so
writing a
serious.
Hope Saw's fanfic.
Final Fantasy 13 takes itself so seriously that when someone told me there was a funny part in Final Fantasy 13 too, I was like, that seems really out of character because I can't imagine this game doing a single.
Oh yeah, 13
thing.
2 just takes like a whole different other or a whole nother.
Dude, Chocolina herself is a joke.
Chocolina. God,
Yeah,
that
fuck her.
character.
Fuck whoever came up with that character. Fuck them all. Fuck them. Fuck them hard.
Chocolina, buy my stuff.
All right, I'm actually going to spoil something in regards to Chocolina, but I'm not sure if I really should put any spoiler warnings for it because it's incredibly stupid.
I do it.
Do it. We can, like,
I
put
know
it
what you're
in
going
the
to talk
video.
about. I don't.
We can put a joking, like,
one
animated
moment.
clip art stop sign that says spoilers.
All right. Anyway, yeah. Let's see, what was it? Yeah, I remember watching a Let's Play from Something Awful, and I think a few of you said you watched it as well. And they went over Saz's DLC. And it's like, that DLC was kind of oddly made because it's like you had to play mini games to
Yeah,
win
I did not like that at all.
to win the story.
I felt cheated out of that.
But one of the side quests you could do with Chocolina, once you finish all the side quests with her, she revealed who she really was.
Yeah,
Is
I know.
it Saz's
I know.
wife?
No, it's
Oh.
even stupider.
It's worse. Yeah.
Just
It's
wait, you know what?
it's so
Let's
tough.
take a wild guess. Go
Oh,
ahead, take a
oh.
wild guess at who it is.
Who's Chocolina?
Yes.
She's the girl who runs, like, the casino or the equivalent in that game?
She
a
runs
shop.
a store.
Oh, a shop. Okay, I thought she was, like, Voltorb Flip Queen. No,
Take a wild guess.
She's a fal'Cie.
No.
That would have actually somewhat made sense. Or
Yeah,
at least
that would have
sense
actually
of what
made
we'd
an
actually
Because she
gotten.
can
improvement.
time travel. I mean,
Well,
Is
Anyway,
she the
how the
goddess
hell?
Etra?
No.
Nope.
No.
Okay,
That
it
would've
does two
made sense
guesses.
too.
All right.
There's no way I'm gonna get this.
All right, one more.
Well, here's the reason I can't guess is because if the character wasn't introduced,
Oh,
like,
come on, just take a wild guess, man.
dude, I don't even know who it could possibly be.
All right, you want to know who it is?
Yeah.
It is Saz's Chocobo chick. That is who Chocolina is.
holy
That is who Chocolina
shit.
is. I'm not even kidding. They straight
No,
out said that.
He's not kidding.
What?
They straight out said that Chocolina is Saz's Chocobo chick. I don't
Hold
even
on.
know who came up with that. But
How the fuck does that happen?
Oh God.
and they said this with an entirely straight face. They actually made Chocolina become
God, he's
somber for this part. It's like, yeah.
It's on the wiki. Chocolina is revealed to be Chocobo chick that Saz Katzroy brought to his son Dodge.
The funny thing is in the first, like, in 13, we
How?
didn't know him by any other name than Chocobo Chick. Now he's Chocolina.
No, it's not he now. It's she.
I thought it was
Oh,
always a girl.
okay.
Though. I mean, even
Here's
in
how it
even in
happens.
13.
The Chocobo's chick's wish to help others was answered by Etro, who transformed her into Chocolina as she helped Sarah Farron and Null Kreese during their adventure, using her ability to exist in multiple timelines when she is needed.
And someone wrote that. Someone got paid to write that.
Chocobo.
Oh
So good.
God, that's almost as worse as ending the Final Fantasy 13 too.
Oh, fuck.
I
God.
honestly,
Happy
I
to-
actually liked 13-2's ending.
I mean,
I did not like anything else in the game. I enjoyed the ending.
I like the ending, but the to be continued.
Oh
made
yeah, I didn't like that. No.
so
no, I
bad.
didn't like that.
Did you like it because at that point you knew you had finished something and you could just
No,
feel
I-
accomplished about
I
never
just-
having to go back?
No, you're not
I
finished.
legitimately
It
enjoyed
said to be
13-2.
continued.
Stop
Well,
talking
I know,
over each
and then
other.
you saw the
Fuck.
to be continued and you were like, God damn.
Oh yeah, it felt like a kick in the dick. That
Well,
trigger break.
I felt the entire. Okay, well, what happened to Sarah? I think I was happy with. Everything else, the fuck.
the whole way they went about it, I thought was pretty bad. But the whole like what we're gonna see in the future, because you know there's gonna be a 13-3. I'm
Yeah.
actually
There's-
somewhat excited for that. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
I'm cautiously excited for whatever reason.
cautiously excited.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping they can further redeem it by actually making the story a little bit better now.
13-3,
God,
well,
was-
we'll reveal that Saz was actually a FLC.
Dodge is pulse.
And
That's
then
the
the
thing I wanna
Chocobo
know.
chick who was Rosalina or Chocolina, now turned into the goddess Etra.
That's one thing I want to know. How the hell did Saz get to 500 or whatever year it is? 500.
When you complete the DLC, Final Fantasy 13-2 spoilers coming in. When
Go
you
for
complete the DLC, Saz gets one wish. After he saves his son, he gets one wish, and that wish is to move into a future, because he knows what's going to happen in the future. So he wants to go to that future and help them in which way they can. So that I thought was passable.
Because
as
that was
compared
one of the
to-
most awesome boss battles, just for
Yeah,
the sheer
I was
fact
like,
that
"Saz,
Saz
what are
is
you
piloting
doing?"
your platform.
It's 580 or AF, whatever you want to call it. What are you doing here?
Oh, nothing. I'm just flying a boss battle airplane.
Up the fuck on. We're gonna fight Bahamut. I didn't care. I was just curious at that point. We're
Wait,
getting
so
kinda
why
side-
is...
though.
Well, I guess this is more into 13-2 territory rather than 13, but why is Fang's Eidolon now the evil?
I don't.
There's another summon called the Chaos Bahamut, and Caius, the main enemy, can not only summon it but turn himself into it.
Seriously, who the fuck wrote these things?
Toriyama. Toriyama.
Toriyama.
Toriyama.
I-
Is that
I
why?
don't like the
Did
guy.
Sas find the 7 Dragon Balls and wish himself into the future?
What? No, seriously, did Akira Toriyama legitimately write this?
No, it's not Akira Toriyama. It's Moru Toriyama. I don't know his name.
You're right. If Akira Toriyama wrote this, it probably would have been somewhat more amusing
Well,
And
hey,
He would have
actually-
retconned it.
and actually enjoyable.
did he
he would have
write
retconned
any of Chrono Trigger, or was he just
I
art?
think he just did designs.
No,
Oh, okay.
the best.
No,
the
you're
best
talking about
thing-
two completely different people.
All
The
right.
Toriyama's
best
been
thing
in
about
Final
13-2's ending, get ready for this. The bad guy, if you kill him, the entire universe ends.
Why?
Because he has the heart of chaos, and if good and chaos don't exist together, then the universe unravels itself.
Why?
He had a show inside it. And
This is bullshit. Seriously, who wrote this shit?
That's what
They
happened.
paid
at the
money
end.
to this guy to write this.
Well,
Who
then again, they
paid
paid
this
money
guy
to the
money?
character artist to draw those people in the game.
Go Nomura.
Nomura didn't do any of it. He just sent the
I
face.
mean, seriously,
the
just
faces.
hearing that
I
short,
thought he designed the characters.
Nope,
just
he did
the
not.
short
Oh,
sentences together makes 13. Oh fuck, I'm stumbling over myself. But yeah, seriously, just hearing that makes me appreciate Final Fantasy XIII's story and writing,
Yeah, 13.
and
was
that's
much,
an amazing
much,
feat
much,
in
much
itself.
better. And I think 13.2 made me appreciate 13 more in a way. As
13
hard as that
2's
is to say, I like 13.2 more, but I appreciated 13 in a way because it was
God-
so horribly written.
God forbid I quote IGN on this, but I read the IGN review for 13.2, and they made an excellent point. Final Fantasy 13's story is great compared to 13.2, but 13.2's gameplay is exceptional compared to 13. It's like they switched it.
Yeah.
They switched all the production value to gameplay for 13.2 and
I'm
haphazardly did the
perfectly
story.
Okay with that. And
Which
that
is what
why
I think. I think that's what they actually needed to work on, because I feel like if the game was fun to play, I could overlook bad storyline like I
Oh,
do in
yeah.
a lot of other games, and
I
I think
had a
that's why
lot of-
13.2 was.
I
good.
had a lot of fun playing 13.2.
13.2 is the thing about 13.2 that really made it for me is the soundtrack. A lot of people really hated
Oh,
it.
No,
yeah, the
fuck you.
soundtrack
Fuck
was
the
amazing.
soundtrack. I should get
The-
you
the
out of the
Choco-
call because of that.
No,
Dude,
no,
the
no, no.
Chocobo March. I like that song.
No, fuck you both.
The thing about 13.2 soundtrack is it was done by Final Fantasy XI's composer, and I have a real hard on for that guy, and it sounds a lot like his music, and I really enjoyed that. I was a really big part of it. That's why I enjoyed it.
Here's another reason why you two can go fuck yourselves. They messed up Battle on the Big Bridge.
Oh, I
They
didn't
like
mind that
seriously messed it
at
up.
all. I did not mind that version at all. I didn't like it, but I didn't mind it either. I mean,
I'm not horribly invested in the music of the Final Fantasy series, although I will say I downloaded the Final Fantasy 13 soundtrack just for that Chocobo March.
Get out.
the Chocobo March. Which one?
The one you hear in the theme park.
Wait, is it? Oh wait, no, that
Oh,
that
I
one.
don't know.
All right, never mind. That one's all right. The one where it's like guitars and like screamo or whatever the
Oh,
fuck.
no,
That
no, no,
one
that's-
can go to
screw
hell.
that.
Wait,
Oh,
that one-
what?
That's
He's talking
when
about 13.
he's talking about 13.2 when you ride the chocobos that you have to have that certain item.
Yeah, I thought you guys
yes.
were. I thought you guys were still talking about 13 too.
Oh no,
Oh.
I haven't played 13.2.
You know, the thing about that Chocobo theme is it was just making fun of itself. I mean, they
Yeah.
admit to that. It's making fun of the series and a lot of the changes that they made, controversial changes, which is why they made such a horrible song. But it was kind of ironic in a way. I thought it was funny, and
That's
you
that's
never
not
hear
really
it. You
that
never hear
good
it
of
in
an
game.
excuse to make your music terrible, though.
You never hear it in game though. So it's like,
Stupid guitar.
No, I mean
song.
like I'm still thinking about the 13.2 version of the Chocobo song. Holy sh!
so you think
No,
right,
well that was only for one fraction. I think I only used one of those chocobos once, just because of that music.
I thought it was hilarious, and I ran out of Geishel rings before anything horrible could happen in the song. So I didn't.
Yeah.
It really pushed it for you to not use those chocobos at all, though. 'Cause, I mean, it drained your Geishel.
Well, I mean the music itself was kind of an incentive
That too,
not to
yeah.
use them.
That too. They controlled like shit. the music, and they
Wait,
just
how
drained
do you
it.
make it control like shit when they, for of all of its faults in
Remember,
13, they
I,
actually got that right?
I don't know if you played 10, but do you remember that chocobo dodging game where you had to get 0-0 to win?
I thought
Dude,
that was
that game
12.
is stupid.
That is exactly how those chocobos controlled.
Really?
They were
Oh
so
god.
bad. Look, the whole purpose of riding those chocobos was just so you didn't have to have random encounter battles.
Yep, that's
Even
how.
That's
then,
it.
battles were really random. I mean, you could completely avoid them, so there was no reason to ride them at all.
Oh fuck me.
No, but if there was like a large, like one of the behemoths that hit the chocobo, you got knocked off it and you got engaged into the
Oh,
battle.
right. If enemies spawned near that chocobo, they'd throw you right into battle.
Oh wow.
All right.
It's so great.
I'm not sure if we should go back on a topic or not because okay, after hearing what's on or what was written for 13 too, I'm kind of actually more appreciative of 13. Fuck me if
I,
how
the
did
way I
you
look at
guys
it
do
is,
that? How the hell did you guys make me appreciate a confusing mess of story?
I like to look at 13.2's story as a joke in a way. It's I guess just trying to be
Dude,
like,
You like Final
Final
Fantasy 13 2 story, ironically.
no, I
I
no,
was
don't.
no,
looking
a
forward to
joke
the
of
whole.
a
I like to think that they were making the story horrible on purpose.
yeah, but that's not even the best way to make a hilarious Final Fantasy. Okay, I'm gonna show my 5 hard on again, but 5 really, did the lighthearted thing for Final Fantasy the best.
If you're
Like,
referring to
Well,
Gilgamesh, the reason why 5 and a lot of the other older Final Fantasies are so charming is because not the director, but one of the bigger heads in the game, Hiroyuki Ito, actually created
some
Gilgamesh.
Japanese guy.
Yeah, he
Oh
created
god, I hate
Gilgamesh, and
myself now. Anyway, what was that?
he created Gilgamesh in Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, then
Kitase, the guy who made 13,
like,
he wanted to make it the whole opera scenario in 6 like completely cinematic.
Wait,
You would not interact at all. He made Ultros appear. He made the whole mini game or the whole
wait,
little.
so he designed Gilgamesh or his character anyway?
Yeah, he pretty much created Gilgamesh. The
Then
thing is, they were
that guy
making him,
gets all my love now because Gilgamesh is my absolute favorite Final Fantasy
and I
character.
think one of the biggest faults of 13 was that he did not work on it, which is why I felt so unfinished and so wonky in many areas.
I
He,
think Final Fantasy 13 would have been a lot better
if they
if
added charm,
if
or
it had well that too. Like if they obviously didn't they were obviously trying to take the game itself and the storyline really seriously. That's why we didn't see a whole lot of Saz. And even when we did, it was Saz kind of being sad. Like he was we were made to think he was going to kill himself at one point. So obviously they were even trying to drama it up then. But I feel like it would have been better and easier to care about if it just had happened in chronological order and they hadn't
yeah,
tried to take so much artistic merit. Like think about like Final Fantasy IX. Think
it all
about
happened pretty much.
like it all happened in order. Think about how much you wouldn't have cared if Vivi were like a clone if you had started the game knowing he was a clone.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you
by the way,
started like Flight of the
spoilers
Black
to all our
Wings,
listeners.
You learn
great.
Vivi's a
Game's been
clone in
around
like the
for,
first like 4 hours.
I
of the
was
game.
gonna start Final Fantasy IX next week.
Dude, start Final Fantasy IX. It's a great game. You'll learn Vivi's a clone like 4 hours into the game.
All right.
yeah, it's not a huge.
It's
plot.
not big spoilers.
I mean, it's a huge plot point, but it gets.
Oh, by the way, the main character has a tail.
Spoilers, guys.
Oh God.
By the way, he
Garnet
uses
summons
knives.
Oh God.
I'm sorry for spoiling that for you, though.
By the way,
Oh,
there's
it's
magic and summons.
Just don't
Yeah,
spoil the
it has
ending for me.
MP.
oh, I won't.
I don't even know what the ending.
But here,
I actually don't
'Cause
understand
get
the
the-
ending to 9 because the final boss just like came out of nowhere.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
they've been doing that.
this is how my playthrough of Final Fantasy 13 happened. I basically got up to Bartanilis my first time through, and then I stopped. I came back a year later at the request of one of my roommates, and I was determined to beat the game, Final Fantasy 13. So I basically went through and beat it.
I did that. My first playthrough was where I was playing it at the end just for the sake of beating it and being able to tell other people that I didn't like it. I had a
Yeah.
friend who played it too, and
That's
I was
pretty much my entire motivation for starting this series, or the Final Fantasy forum.
yeah.
Is
Okay.
okay, I beat it. Now let's talk about it,
Now,
discuss it.
Now, that after the Bartangelus fight, the game opened up a bit more, gave you a little bit more exploration, and made it a little bit more fun. So I was
thing
actually
was-
enjoying myself the second time I played through.
The problem with that exploration was that there was hardly anything to explore.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you find those fuck, what are they called? That race of people, or those ruins in like back ass of the Archlight Step, or those highlands.
Oh
I
yeah,
know what
like
you're
you
talking
found the
about.
destroyed
You found
cities
those,
or whatever.
and it's like, okay, well, that's that. These missions here.
I kept trying to get it to where I could get the giant cactar at the end.
Oh,
That one's actually kind of a convoluted mess to get. It's like one, you have to be able to get onto the chocobo, and
Yeah,
that and
I tried
that
to
by
get the
itself is like a
chocobo.
series of quests.
I actually got to that.
And then there's like a cliff near this family of
Yeah,
adamantulids, adamantortises,
Longwise.
It's like
And
I
then you had
enjoyed
to,
the
like,
game.
and then you
Up
had to like
until-
jump up those cliffs. There's an item, like an item sphere there. You open it up, it has a cactar doll there. You have a
Yeah, and then
cutscene with Saz,
Yeah,
and he chases them. Okay, then that releases all the cactar into the wild. You kill one. Then there's like a Seath stone, whatever, all the way at the west end, east end, whatever end of the Archlight steps, Arclight, whatever. And then finally, that's when you can take the quest to defeat the giant cactar.
no. I beat that quest. I'm talking about after the game finishes. There's a Giga Giant Cactar.
Yeah, that's the quest.
Really?
Yeah, that's the quest to take on the giant cactar.
Because I remember taking on one that was like 2 times the size of the characters. That didn't happen after the end of the game, but
No, there's one where it's like taller than any of your characters. It just looms over you and spams 10,000 needles.
God damn.
Oh, terrible.
It was probably one of the hardest bosses in the game.
Yeah, but believe it or
didn't-
not, that's probably the most fun you'll get in the game. Because it's just
Well-
like an off-the-wall boss. And it's a cactar. How do you hate a cactar?
It added some hilarity to the game. Like I don't explain it, but it's like this creature, this cactar, is in this serious story.
Yeah, and that's what cactars were for, to like be endearing. And they were. Well, are, I should say.
Oh,
I guess
crap.
that's what made
Please tell me-
it fun.
I just realized. Please tell me I hit record for this.
Oh
Main
god.
panel.
Oh boy.
Actually, you know what? I did, because first time I did the test, it said, "What do you want to name this recording?" So,
Oh, okay, good.
all right, cool. Because I was about to say an hour and 13 minutes of prime material, and
But yeah, I'm almost kind of surprised they put the cactar stuff in, just because again, this game takes itself so seriously.
I'm surprised that the cactar weren't mechanical.
Oh my god.
actually, you know
Everything
what? That
in
would have
this
been
game-
even
I'm
better.
actually surprised.
That would have been.
Everything in this
I
game
would-
was mechanical, and I
I
did
would
not
have
like
laughed my ass off if they did make it mechanical.
Didn't they have tonberries in 13 as well?
Yeah, but you had to like
remember the
do a
Tonberry.
quest. You had to do a quest to get them.
That fucking
I don't know why
And
they
even
did
then,
was-
even then, you can only find them in certain places in quests.
I remember I fought one, and I remember I was vastly underleveled for fighting it.
Well, I beat my first Tomberry after I finished the game. Like, I'm going through now trying to 100% the trophies. Like,
that. Oh God, why?
which by the way,
I
since
said.
last time,
Holy
since last
crap!
time we
I
talked,
enjoyed the game, and I don't even want to do that.
since
Why?
last time we talked, okay, I got 7 trophies. 7. And
But
when I got 6 of them, okay, the game said I was like when I got the first 6, the game said I was 50% through all the trophies.
the other problem with Final Fantasy 13 is, despite the fact that they do give you some non-linearity in the form of the missions are linear in themselves because you have to do one to unlock the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed in that, where like I was kind of early on in the Grand Pulse areas where I was saying like quests I realized I wouldn't be able to undertake for quite a while.
Yeah.
Because you needed a certain amount of points to do some of the missions, and I was like, I'm nowhere near that many points.
But
Yeah.
oh, there's something that reminds me. You know that useless fat fuck that's walking around in the background, Titan?
Oh yeah, in
That
Grand
giant ass
Pulse.
Falsey.
Yeah.
His okay, they said he's a biogenitor, and that pretty much means okay. And Fang summed it up. It's like he eats up weaker species and spits new ones out. That makes no fucking practical sense when you think about it. Because
Well,
he's slow as all get out, and he'd have to track down every single, well, a good chunk of the species so that they die out, and then eat them all, and then make a new one.
They actually had a part in the missions on Grand Pulse where you have some sort of encounter with him. I remember it.
Yeah,
Like
it
you
was
had
like
to hide
it was
from
like
him.
so what? Not so much hide from him, but it was like he gave you a shit ton of quests or trials to do, and they were pretty
Yeah,
much
that's
quests.
it. I remember it now. It was trials.
Yeah,
I remember I had trouble in one of
and
those
all he
trials.
says like pitiful. Let's see, you should be better off serving the life cycle or whatever. And he doesn't do anything except summon shit at you. And even then, it's completely optional.
Well, at least they put him in there, or put something in there to give him character other than I'm just standing here in the background waving at you.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of relieved that he talked, because he's like the only thing on Pulse that actually talked to you. Like,
yeah,
Oh my God, you're right. He
That's
was the
ano-
only thing.
that's another thing I kind of want to talk about is, did anyone else like, one of my main problems with this game was the game just felt so empty and lifeless.
yeah,
Like
that was
Yeah.
like the locations were neat, but even when you went to the city and there was a giant parade, like, this might seem like a weird qualm, but like you could just walk right through the people. Like I felt like they weren't there. Like I felt like literally I was still just on a hallway and I was alone walking through it, even when there were supposed to be people all around me.
part of it was because they didn't have a talk command. It was all like auto
yeah, it was
dialogue
auto
or
talk.
whatever. So
Yeah.
when you walk by someone, they spoke, and it's like, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point. The auto talk, to me, that seemed like a terrible feature, and here's why. In previous Final Fantasy games, yeah, you had to manually talk, but manually talking to people offered not only the player a chance to learn about the world, but offered the dev team a chance to, put in little snippets that gave character and information about the game world. There was no such thing. It was just, oh, I'm part of a crowd. Oh, I'm a human who has a reaction.
Did you
Yeah,
hear about those Lassie? I bet they're terrible. I don't want to talk to this person anymore.
And they missed.
Gee, honey, I sure do love this parade.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, they missed out a huge point or opportunity there to actually reveal stuff instead of having to like go into the deadlog and read up on all this shit.
They
Yeah,
missed a real opportunity to give their game a little bit of life. Like, I would have killed for just like one town.
I kept
I never
thinking
understood Square
one of the-
Enix's excuse
one-
for towns.
one of the driving things is I'm a sucker for stories. So when the Vanille and Fang kept hinting at their village, I was like, oh, we're going to see how Grand Pulse people live. Nope.
Oh yeah, that too.
Oh, guess what?
I was
Turns
just
out
waiting
they.
for it.
Oh,
It
go ahead.
turns out Vanille and Fang are 500 years old, and their civilization is gone now. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
oh, and
like
guess
there's
what?
no
They
people
lived
on Grand
exactly like
Pulse.
people on Cocoon. Just in one big community.
Yeah, like I was wondering, they were saying they would like hunt monsters and stuff, and I was like, oh man, are we gonna go on some rad hunts? And we never did, and we never saw another person basically
I
after.
felt if there was like a village there and they gave like quests to like go kill these monsters, other than the sea stones or whatever, it would have
I
been like adding story and stuff to the ancient ways of Grand Pulse. That would have been great.
if they would have replaced Seath Stones with people like in that village who gave you quests, I would have thought that game. I would have a much higher opinion of that game just from doing that.
Like the sea stones were so depressing.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Like-
couldn't kill this thing. Do it for me, please.
Yeah, that way I won't be trapped in purgatory
Oh, that
forever.
reminds me
You
of
wouldn't
the-
want to be rude.
That reminds me of the Sea of Stone. Well, actually, a couple of Sea of Stones that I want to talk about. But first one being the one for the Tonberry. They basically how that one was written is like, okay, it started out like, oh, I'm gonna kill one of the undying one of the infamous Seath, and basically the Sea of Stone was like, oh, okay, my Lassie focus is to kill this monster that my father and my father before him, or his father before him and his father before him have all tried to kill, and it's up to me now to take him down, and basically set up this whole huge grudge against this undying Seath. Well, you go to him, and then out of nowhere, this Tomberry just like runs up and stabs him in the leg, and basically,
Tonberry.
we were just told or implied that Tomberries are actually another form of Seath.
Oh God, what?
Oh,
I mean, it's
God,
never explicitly
what?
stated, but the way the Sea of Stone was written, and the Tom Berry's personality and character, that's pretty much what they're implying is Tom Berries are another Seath. Anyway,
Awkward pause for
yeah, I
what the fuck.
mean, well, that's
even
exactly
more.
it. It's like,
that's
wait,
more what the fuck than Chocolina.
no, Chocolina is still more what the fuck. Let's see what else. Oh, there was actually one that wasn't so depressing. And it was like the guy who became a Sea of Stone. He's like, oh man, I get to hunt this monster. It doesn't matter if I die or if I get turned to a crystal. It's like, as long as I challenge myself to the very limit and become the very best, it'll be awesome. There's sunshine in the sky.
Yeah, some of them were
There's
terrible.
birds. There's rainbows. And I wish I was joking about the rainbows part. There was one that actually said there's rainbows.
I don't know what you have against rainbows, but
No, it was like, it just reminded me too much of the double rainbow thing, and I'm not sure if that was a thing back then, but yeah, pretty much just imagine the double rainbow guy being turned into a Sea of Stone, and that's him.
that would probably kind of ruin that dialogue for me as well.
I just had a thought. I'm thinking to Snow in 13 too. Rui, I got a question for you. When you saw the trailers and you saw the new look for Snow, were you thinking he was going to be emo?
Honestly,
I have not
I've seen
actually
a couple
seen.
trailers for 13.2. I have no idea what new Snow looks like. Let me Google him.
Yeah, post the link
It-
because I don't want to bring up Firefox in the recording. Well, again, until you've posted a picture.
Oh,
Oh, please post.
that's
I
kind of
wanna-
weird.
Please post.
Wait,
I didn't
he's
mind
a
what he
giant.
looked But
Post the link, please.
Snow is like a giant. I'm seeing a picture of him and Sarah next to each other in 13.2, and like her head is up to his like main breast.
He's 7
No, he
foot
was-
tall.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't he like that in the first game though?
Yeah, he was always that tall.
Yeah. So
I don't remember him being that tall.
anyway,
I guess
post,
seeing him next
post a
to
picture
Sarah.
of him in 13.2.
Sarah, I guess, is supposed to be
It's
quite
not a picture, but it's his wiki page. Just scroll down till you see him in the black trench coat.
All right.
Oh my god, dude.
Wait, black trench coat? Oh man, we're getting deep, dark, edgy now.
Black tattered trench coat with looks like a torn off bottom and definitely torn off sleeves.
Anyway,
Like, I honestly thought he was going to be emo.
All right, so that is him in 13. Oh God, what? What?
What's with his hair?
What?
Why does he have metallic feathers for hair?
What? What?
I really did not mind it personally. Like it was just
No. It just didn't suit
he
his
looks different.
He
What?
looks different, all right. I kind
he
of
looks
have.
different.
What?
I'm having the same reaction to this as I had when I saw the picture of Kanji in Persona 4 the Golden.
Oh God, same voice actor too. So
It's the same voice actor.
her. God, that persona.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh,
I can't imagine Kanji's voice coming out of that person's face.
Oh my
It
God.
sounds-
Oh my God.
oh,
my
God.
Now,
I'm
this
not
is even
worried about
better
her.
because since I'm using Procaster, the people who will eventually watch this video, they will be able to see it at the same time I react.
Are just gonna see a giant picture of this guy.
Well, no, I can.
What's even more depressing, Snow in 13.2, is he turns himself back into a Lassie just to gain powers. I don't know how he travels through time, but he gains powers to try and fight this giant blob that's trying to crash Cocoon.
This is just. Oh my God.
He doesn't even want to complete the focus that the Fal'Cie gave him. He just wanted to turn himself into a Lassie. Oh, and don't even get me started on the artificial Fal'Cie.
Oh wait, what? That's
No,
a thing.
Oh, what?
No. let's stop here.
Yeah,
We're talking about
what?
13.
See,
Oh, God.
see, when you
why?
guys mentioned that 13.2 had better gameplay, I was like, and then hearing all the story, I'm like, fuck no.
The fact that you will
If
refuse to talk about something that happened in 13.2 is not putting it in a good light.
All right. Hope
No, it's not.
becomes a,
Holy
becomes
cow!
a
This
badass.
screenshot. This screenshot makes him look like a gigantic. There's just no other way to say it. It's like
He looks like a giant.
no,
hope
not like a
it's-
giant, but I was gonna say like. I don't want to say it, but giant, flamboyant person. Like normally, I'll say the word when I'm with friends, but not in an online recording.
We're in public.
No, it's just that, okay, I've actually told some people about this, and it all seemed kind of weird. Anyway,
I will say one thing. Hope is a complete badass in 13.2, except for one.
oh, wait. Let me...
thing-
Show me his design for that.
Hope.
It's not much different. It's not like
he has the same
No.
color scheme. He's just a lot taller, and he has a lisp in his voice a little bit.
Oh, wait, so you're saying
it
that
sounds like
puberty
he's still
actually
going
hit?
through puberty. What?
You're saying that puberty actually hit him this time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About
okay,
fucking
I'm looking
time.
at a picture of him now. He looks pretty similar.
Wait, I think he wore a scarf in...
He's got a
13
tie
too?
now.
Oh, a tie? All right.
Yeah, he's the
I know he
leader
wore
of a
something,
scientific. He's the
too.
leader of a scientific academy now.
Oh, I was gonna say it looks like he looks like Indiana
so he's-
Jones.
Oh, so he's a ripoff of Genos from Tales of Symphonia. Nice.
But
God, I actually...
that's what ties in the artificial Fal'Cie. He was trying to find a way to keep Cocoon afloat, so he decided to create an artificial Fal'Cie to take over the job of
By the
Worf.
way, spoilers. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
a bit late there.
I've
You can
already
just
told
warn.
them most of the story from Final Fantasy 13 too, so
Oh, yeah, no, but still.
yeah, sorry.
Oh my God! So, yeah, I
Well,
don't think
I thought that was an okay part of it.
maybe when
story, the whole,
13.2 is on sale, maybe I'll touch it.
The
Maybe.
gameplay makes it. I'm going to say
I
that.
don't know. The story is almost canceling out any improvement they made to the gameplay.
I have a question about 13.2. Is Vanille in it at all?
Yeah,
Yes.
very,
Damn it.
very, very little. But
Fang it
Very little. Okay, I might
Is it
consider.
is it
playing
like a
it then.
flashback?
no,
No.
it's hard to explain.
It's
But
very
hard.
it's very little. It's not a flashback though.
Can
By
you
the way, just a
explain it
heads up,
using the word time travel?
No, I can use it explaining 3 words Latin. Deus ex machina.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I need to hear.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
Quick interruption here. Around 5-minute warning. Just trying to keep them all same. All these videos same length. So yeah. Well, I guess since we have like 5 minutes, anything else? Like any nitpicks you guys want to bring up?
We really didn't bring up the story all that much. We just brought up the
Well,
way it was progressed.
I think it's because
honestly,
we quickly realized that the story and writing, or story and lore, just kind of turned out to be a mess. The pacing's off. Motivation
still
for these
simplistic.
characters is just
or
out there.
it was very simplistic, and that's what Final Fantasy is known for. The problem is they mixed it up, and we've gone over that. I really do not have any complaints about the story aside from that one bit with Hope, and aside from some characters
God,
becoming
yeah, that's
completely irrelevant.
now that I think about it, that whole thing with Hope was just kind of artificial.
That was
Yeah.
really all I have against the game story.
I would be able to be more invested in the story if I didn't feel like the game was trying to be dramatic just for the sake of being dramatic. Because once I started to, I'm not going to say no, but once I started to get the idea in my head that most of the characters were written in just for them to die off later, or just for me to try to care about them so I would feel bad when they died, I really stopped caring about the game.
Yeah, the whole thing with Sid, I did not like.
Yeah, like he was a totally fine
Oh.
character, and they were like, you know what would make people really upset? If Sid betrayed the main party.
And
I
then,
don't want
you know
to
what
be
would
a
make them
tool of the
upset even more?
Fel Seed no longer.
If they still looked at him as a hero.
Wait, hold on. Let me try this again. Post this if you if you're a strong Fel, or let's see, who don't need no Falsy.
That's pretty much Sid.
That was pretty much Sid. That was pretty much Sid in a nutshell. And
But I thought
and it was even more pointless because Bartandlos was like, "Hey, fuck you." You know, he used the Phoenix down, and it's like, "All right, now you're the Primarch."
But overall,
Not that
I
it
thought
mattered because he got shot in again.
13 is yeah. That
Hold
was
on,
just
let me
like,
interrupt
oh.
you for a third time. There we go. Go ahead. I won't
That
do it.
whole thing with Sid dying after dying was kind of whatever.
Yeah, they reintroduced him again just to kill him again, and that
They really did not like him. I will
No.
say that they really did not like Sid.
You know what? It was
And-
actually kind of pointless for them to do that because, like, legitimately, after they said, "Oh, I made him the Primarch," that he died with like less than 3 minutes. No, not even
in a day.
2 minutes of
He
screen time
died the
after
day
that.
He was appointed.
Like,
Yeah.
seriously, 2 minutes of screen time was probably the absolute max he had after that.
I'm
Yeah.
the Primarch.
I didn't like
Oh.
that chapter though. I like the whole scenario of that chapter of the all-out attack. It felt similar to the Midgar attack, except unlike the intro to 13, it felt like it pulled it off nicely, or at least in a better fashion.
That was actually one of the parts where I stayed awake for that. I was like, "Oh fuck, stuff is happening. This is actually exciting. Fuck
Yeah,
me."
I love
That
that
whole
that
intense
cutscene in
cutscene and,
13.
Well,
Yeah,
where
that
they have
was-
like all their summons and shit out.
that
Yeah,
was cool.
Yeah, that was actually a good cutscene.
that was an amazing cutscene.
I was
That made me
hoping
want to
you
finish
wanted
the
to
game
finish
right
the
there.
game.
I was like, this game's just getting linear, and then that happened. I'm like, I'm pumped now.
yeah.
Let's go kick
And then that
Bartandalis'
final
ass.
dungeon happened. Oh boy,
It was-
I
Oh,
just
God.
fantastic.
It was definitely a very good Michael Bay presents Final Fantasy 13 moment.
It was kind of.
But
Well,
yeah,
I-
like when Sid died the second time after being shown briefly on screen, that was like the final straw for me where I was like, every
was the most
character in this game
pointless
is
thing
expendable. Like
Yeah.
this game is literally tugging on my heartstrings just for the sake of trying to tug on my heartstrings. Except like it wasn't tugging on my heartstrings, and I had just kind of like
You know
I just
what?
didn't care anymore because I knew any character I was supposed to care about was gonna die.
You know what also kind of doesn't make any sense? The deaths in this game, or the deaths in this game are too clean. Like,
Oh yeah, you said
When-
that before.
Yeah.
I didn't really mind it. Like it never struck me as an issue.
Well, yeah, but okay, when you want a death to make an impact, there's, like I said before, when you want a death to make an impact, you gotta make it messy. There's just no real way about it. It's like,
I think
unless it's like a
Caius's death.
throwaway character, but oh fuck me. Then
I think
again,
Caius's death in 13-2 is the messiest death of all because the entire universe is destroyed. So,
that's just a Gainax ending.
oh god.
I think the bigger problem isn't that like the deaths weren't gory or explicit enough, but I think it's that
Well,
death was just thrown around too easily.
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's not like,
it was a
I'm not
plot
saying
tool.
that okay, Final Fantasy needs to be grim, dark, edgy, gorier,
No,
dirtier, and
yeah,
all that.
no.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, okay,
Yeah.
it's like the deaths didn't really have any impact when they
Like,
happened. I mean,
You-
they
you
just
think you're gonna
happened.
fight-
They just
Most
happened.
of the characters' deaths were off screen until it came to a flashback where it was like the person holding them in their arms.
Well, the
I
one
said
that-
this off screen after the recording ended last week, but I was talking about Sarah's character for Ruisu, who wasn't here. I was talking about Sarah's character, and I felt like every single time Sarah and Snow had a conversation, the conversation went like this, and this is why I made that image. I felt like the conversation went, "Hey Snow, you love me, right?" "Yes, honey, I love you more than anything in the world." "And you would be really sad if something bad happened to me, right?" "I would be incredibly upset, honey." "Would you be really upset if I became a Lassie?" "Honey, I would be incredibly upset if that happened." And that's like all their dialogue was, "Would you be upset if something bad happened to me?" And then amazingly something bad happened to her.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't. I wasn't really invested in the whole 13 days prior.
Well,
yeah.
okay,
I
the
think
death.
I think the only characters I felt legitimate interest in were Vanille, Saz, and Fang.
I
think that
I could be like sympathetic towards Vanille because like the fact that she accidentally killed Saz's son is sad,
But not
but-
really.
well, but not really, but she was supposed to have, and it was another thing that was supposed to make us sad, which it did. But I just couldn't get over how annoying she was.
Yeah.
I
I
did
gotta
not
say,
mind her
the
character
only-
at all. I mean,
gotta say
all
that-
the comedy relief characters in the series have never really annoyed me. I enjoyed Selphie, Yuffie, Riku.
I didn't have a problem with really any of those characters, but it was just the fact that Vanille was given constant voice acting during cutscenes, except most of her voice acting during the cutscenes was like monosyllabic, like ha noises.
All right.
Oh.
Hate to interrupt, but we're probably gonna have to save this for another time. But yeah. I think they're. I don't know. What did you guys think would be the next one or next topic? Because I think we covered the big ones. I mean, I guess we still have a bit of gameplay to discuss because we actually spent around or close to half an hour talking about that. I guess we could talk about music, but that one's gonna be a little bit tough to do.
Well, the music in the game, I don't really think anyone thought it was terrible or anything. I mean, I legitimately enjoyed it.
I got tired in like the first third of the game. They had the same song. I forget what it's called. I have it
Oh,
from
that
the soundtrack. That
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
sad
It's
theme.
like some drum and that one. I thought it was like the drum and bass battle theme kind of mix. And
yeah.
Oh, that
The
one.
battle theme
I
kind of
thought that was like
I don't know. The boss battle themes kind of suck because part of the problem with them was that they weren't memorable.
I love
mean-
the Eidolon theme, the Eidolon battle theme. That was really nice. I thought.
Yeah.
Like the main battle theme, like the one with all the violence and stuff. That one I kind of like, but really the only parts that I, bothered to remember and like about it was the, strings part. That's pretty much about it.
I thought again, I'm tooting no she to this one. I enjoyed 13.2 soundtrack far more because it had a lot more of a melodic sound. This one is very orchestrated. It had some melodies. It was just overly orchestrated, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed it a lot.
It was
but,
definitely a big orchestra
All right.
thing.
Well, I'm gonna probably
Yeah.
just go ahead and cut it off here. I guess if there's a next one, we'll probably just do, a grab bag, odds and ends stuff.
Just
Because I
nitpick at
can't really
whatever
think
gets
of
us
like
off.
an overall theme for the next one, so I guess we'll just do odds and ends.
Yeah, it's
So,
not like we've been sticking very well to a theme so far, anyways.
yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you guys anyway for doing this. Kind of means something to me, but mainly I just like the fact that we're getting together and discussing video games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a fun thing.
yeah. So, all right. Talk to you wherever you guys may be on Vinesauce, on Steam, wherever. Video games.